In this episode of the Business of E-commerce, I talk with the founders of Paleo Treats, Nick Hawks and Lee Selman. This is the Business of E-commerce, episode 9. Welcome to the Business of E-commerce, the podcast that helps e-commerce retailers start, launch, and grow their e-commerce business. I'm your host, Charles Pileski, and I'm here today with the founders of Paleo Treats, Nick Hawks and Lee Selman. Hey Nick, hey Lee, how you guys doing today?
Doing awesome.
Yeah, psyched to be on. This is going to be rad.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, excited to talk to you guys. You guys started a site called Paleo Treats. It was in what year did you guys get started?
We started in 2009.
Okay. Wow. So it's been an e-commerce year. That's a long time.
Yes, it is. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys got started?
Yeah, I can do that. We started in 2009, and we had a friend that moved in with us that he eats paleo. He's been eating paleo since, I don't know, like 2005. So he moved in with us for a while, and it was just easier for us at dinner time when we all got together to eat the same food. So we said, oh, we'll give this a try. And so we started eating paleo, which is basically, just getting rid of gluten, grain, dairy, and sugar. So it's eaten pretty clean. And a couple weeks went by and we started feeling great. And one thing you really start missing is dessert or chocolate or ice cream. So instead of going and grabbing some Haagen-Dazs, we decided, man, it would be nice to have the option of having a really clean finish to your day or a really clean dessert that's, just as healthy as your healthiest meal. And so, we all said light bulb kind of went off, and we got the website and ended up making a couple of them in our kitchen, working on the recipes, ended up making a couple thousand in our little tiny kitchen, ended up taking them up to the CrossFit games, one of the first, I think it was the second or third CrossFit game up in Aromas. And we were thinking, oh, we'll just end up giving them away at the end of the games. And we didn't want to come home with any. But lo and behold, we ended up selling out the morning of the second day. And we had people that were buying, 15 and 20 of them. And so then we just realized that we had a pretty good business model here. So, yeah, kind of went from there.
That's when the CrossFit Games was just getting started. So you kind of just show up and, start talking to pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah, it was, I think there was like 2 or 3 booths. It was pretty dusty up there and tumbleweeds. And we got some urns of coffee and served people coffee. And, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was way before, the big poobah that it is now. But, yeah. It was pretty cool.
Just so we know, what actually are the Paleo Treats? Are they chocolate or are they bars? And can you describe what they actually are?
Yeah, so they're desserts. So we've been around for 8 years.
Better way of saying it, yeah. I was trying to use the correct words, yeah.
Yeah. So we've been around for 8 years and we've only come out with 6 treats. So we're really picky about taste and we're really picky about quality. We use really good cacao. So they're basically just real food desserts. They don't have any filler. Most products that you see out there that you're used to seeing have a filler in them. So they have some agricultural product that ends up taking up a lot of space, like oats or flour or corn or soy. So with the paleo diet, you don't use any of that stuff in your diet. There's no filler. You're used to seeing your plate where there's some big filler that's taking up a lot of space, whether it's pasta or bread or rice. And the paleo diet doesn't have any of that in it. So your diet ends up becoming very nutritionally dense, right?
Yep.
So we wanted to translate that into a dessert where you didn't feel like crap after eating it. So they're real food desserts. They only have cacao. They're all plant-based. They have cacao, coconut oil, fruits, nuts, seeds. Yeah.
Very cool.
And only sweetened with honey. And they're
Okay.
really good. We have people eat them that are like, I don't know, dads and that don't even eat healthy, and they love them. So
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a paleo thing. You could actually,
Right.
Even probably, I'm guessing lower carb and all sorts of things like that. It probably fits in with those diets as well.
yeah.
Just kind of the normal, like low fat, healthy eating type of thing.
Yeah, it's just like translating, it's just eating a real food dessert.
Yep.
Basically. No preservatives. They have a limited shelf life, and they have no stabilizers, no emulsifiers, nothing like that in them. So it's just thinking of just taking your healthiest meal and translating that into a dessert.
Okay, so then move forward. So they probably aren't sitting very long on shelves. You're kind of making them, selling them, sounds like, pretty quickly. So then what's the process look like today? Or how does that, or as you kind of move from 2009 to
I'm going to let Nick get on
now.
this one.
Sure. So when we started in 2009, as Lee said, we made them in our kitchen, which if you put your arms out as wide as you can and turn in a circle, that's about how big our kitchen is. So we had to come back from those 2009 games, the CrossFit games, and figure out, how do we make this at scale? How do we serve many more people than we can do out of our little home kitchen? And really, how do we get it out of the house? So we found a bakery about 20 minutes north of us, so keeping everything pretty local. We showed them how we make them, and they've been making our stuff ever since. So the process now is that we have kind of standing orders for them to make and fill whatever's getting low. So if we're getting low on brownie or chocolate bars or the macaroons or any of that stuff, they'll just make another 2,000. We use temperature as our preservative, so we'll keep them in the freezer. And then basically we're going through the stock fast enough that they're never in the freezer for that long. There's no preservatives or stabilizers, so it's 10 days shelf life at room temp, 60 days in the fridge, and 6 months in the freezer. So usually what will happen is we'll go up, grab a bunch of them for the week that we know we're going to ship out, ship those guys out, kind of fill up our freezers down at the office, our shipping station, and wash, rinse, repeat next week.
And you guys are in California, right?
Yep. Yeah, down in San Diego.
San Diego. And everything's getting shipped out from San Diego to the East Coast, but it's all North America, continental, or United States?
We ship all over the world.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that we started off doing is I was former military, so seeing these guys in Afghanistan and Iraq and knowing the kind of food that you eat when you're overseas is not particularly healthy. And so we want to make sure it was available to those guys through the APO system.
Yep.
And that was the kind of first way we started shipping around the world. And then in 2009, 2010, and even now, it's still pretty hard to find strictly paleo desserts. You'll see a lot of stuff out there where folks are sneaking in coconut sugar or stevia or erythritol, and they're kind of trying to get around having an actual healthy dessert. And so people recognize that we're actually doing a totally paleo dessert. So we'll still have, mining camps in Australia where a guy will be eating paleo and want to, make sure he's staying on the diet and even in dessert. So we'll ship it out there, or Hong Kong or Singapore, basically anywhere somebody wants it, we'll ship it.
So you ship out to all those places. So the APO system, and just so people, because I don't think everyone's familiar with that, it's a local address you can ship it to, and then that goes out to the military all over the world, wherever they're deployed at that time, right?
Yep. Yeah, the APO and the FPO, the Armed Forces Post Office, and the American Post Office. So that'll be if someone's at an embassy or somewhere else. It just makes it so that Americans stationed overseas by the government can receive mail at a reasonable price, and then this is arguable, reasonable shipping time.
Yeah, I guess it depends where they are exactly, or on a boat at the time, or where they happen to be, but it'll eventually get to them.
Yep.
That's very cool.
Yep. So it's always a risk with food products, but so far we've had really good luck with it.
Yep. So even shipping to, the other side of the world, you're still able to do that with your times. Do you have to kind of keep them at temperature when you're shipping them, or is it okay at that point?
Well, they've got a 10-day shelf life, so we try and keep them 10-day shelf life at room temp. So we try and keep them there. And if we're shipping to Afghanistan in the summer, we'll put it in an insulated box. We'll add a freezer pack. We'll ship them frozen. Kind of do all the things that we can. And I think it's also important in business in general, but definitely with food products without preservatives or stabilizers to set those expectations. So I'll tell the guys like, hey, because we give a 10% military discount that they have to sign up for. And when I first talk to them, I'll usually say, hey, just, like I'll go as fast as I can, but here are the limitations and here's what to expect when it gets there. Make sure you have a freezer to put them in, and then you're good from there. And we found that if we set those expectations early, people are pretty stoked with what they end up with.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you first get started, you don't kind of think of the logistics side of it, of actually shipping, packaging, moving them around, getting them, in freezers and that sort of thing. It's not immediately obvious that's going to be like one of those pain points of the business, and then you start to realize that logistics is a kind of a big deal.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with fresh food.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, you're not dealing with just a candy bar. I mean, most candy bars have a, expiration date 8 months in the future, So you think about perishable food, it's to have a limited shelf life. And that's it's what happens when you eat, real food and eat clean, and we've worked really hard to kind of nail down the shipping of perishables.
Yeah, it's different if you're shipping Twinkies all over the world, right? You can put them in a box and leave them sitting there for a couple of months, and everything will be great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's Yep.
Nice. So then it's definitely. Have you guys had a background in this, or is this something you guys kind of just, both? This is like the first time in e-commerce and logistics and food products, or is there some sort of background? I'm just curious.
No background in food products. It was, like Lee said, it was kind of this thing that we fell into, seeing that there was a need and then addressing that. But we'd had a couple businesses before this one. We had one where we sold T-shirts online, and mostly that was through wholesalers. So we were selling through Nordstrom and Fred Siegel and other kind of high-end fashion places. But this was our first real foray into serious e-commerce business. And there's, some really exciting parts of that. You can reach tons of people. You can scale pretty easily as far as your audience goes. And then there's some more difficult parts where you don't get that human connection that you get with the walk-in store. So kind of balancing out and figuring out what's going to work and what you can do really well and what you have to lean away from.
Yep. It sounds like you guys did a great job with the logistics side and everything. And that's tough to figure out at first. So that's pretty cool, shipping food products.
Yep.
So then fast forward to like 2018, what's kind of your day-to-day look like, and what are you doing today? And what's kind of the process now? And has it changed, or is it where's kind of the focus each day?
Sure. So the logistics process hasn't changed much. At the end of the day, to make cookies and ship them out, there's only so many ways to do that. But the rest of the business, what we found is to focus on the things that we like and we're good at. So I like to write. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. So I'll take care of writing the blog every day. And then Lee is an artist. So she kind of runs the graphic overwatch on the whole thing and makes sure that the direction as far as the look of Paleo Treats is going where she wants it. So that kind of bleeding edge is out at the Instagram edge where she's, putting stuff out on Insta, seeing how it does, and then saying, okay, I like this. Let's do more of this. Let's change the look of the business in this way, and really interacting with a lot of our supporters there. So a lot of the kind of day-to-day now has been looking at what we do well, and then on the, finding the weaknesses that we have, and hiring people to help us fill those weaknesses so that we build a really well-rounded team where everybody can do what they're good at and not have to worry about kind of trying really hard at things they're not so good at.
Have you found you're using like Instagram as kind of your proving ground to be able to start testing out different like graphic ideas and that sort of thing, get them in front of customers?
Yeah, I think it's a format where you can learn to build trust with your customer. And I think it's a visual format, and I think people have to remember that. And we're really big on putting beauty out there, beauty and quality. And so Instagram is the perfect format for that for us. We're big on social media. We're lucky we don't have shareholders or investors. It's Nick and I that run the company, so we're big on quality, and we try to have that thread run through everything that we do. We don't put something out there that's not going to be beautiful.
And it sounds like a very like authentic brand where people can actually like follow it and get behind it and actually like want to see you on Facebook. And it's not a it's not a big corporate brand, so people actually want to interact with you on kind of the Facebooks and Instagram, and talk to guys that way.
Yep. Yeah. We love that. We're not really concerned about meeting or reaching millions and millions of people or selling millions and millions of product. We really care about, and we know we're not for everybody, and we care about those, few customers that we do have and taking care of those few customers that we have. And that's kind of how it's been, for the past 8 years. And then those people tell their friends about us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I found that's one of those things that you find a certain group and that you resonate with that group and go deep with that. And like you said, you're not going to be perfect for everyone, but if you're going to be perfect for a group, and that is the group that then actually wants to talk to you, and that becomes your tribe, and those are your people.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off of you also, because the information age, when you start a business, you're worried about everybody in America or everybody in the world. And if you just start with your neighborhood and reaching people in your neighborhood that want a product or your product, and just scale it from there, it's, then you feel like you have some movement, some progression. So
is that what you guys are kind of doing to start moving things forward, or what's kind of?
Yeah, we recently, so we mostly shipped. Okay, so we ship to people all over the world, or wanting our product and wanting to eat clean, and so we had probably about 80% of our business was e-commerce. We recently moved September. We moved into a new space in our neighborhood, which was cool. So we're about a mile. Our office is about a mile from us, and we opened up a retail space. So we just ended up being a bigger space. So we opened up a storefront, and we are also focused on our neighborhood and helping our neighborhood eat healthy and having samplings, and we have people walk in and stuff like that. So we're still probably about 70% e-commerce. We look at the internet as being it's a giant grocery store now, and you have to take that into account. And also, we sell through Amazon, all that stuff. So we cover all those bases too.
How have you found selling through Amazon? How's that worked for you? Versus selling direct on the website versus, I guess, selling retail?
It's good. I think, you can't deny the power of Amazon. I use Amazon. And so you have to think about it's a form of marketing for you. You're going to reach people that haven't seen you or won't see you. So we love it. We've always loved Amazon. So, and we see the power of it and the beauty of it. And yep.
Yeah, it sounds like with a brand like yours, they might be finding you on Amazon, but then, they're buying you because of something special about your brand, right? So then they're able to look back and maybe go directly to your site or start kind of actually, making a relationship with you at some point, and not just, saying, hey, I found this on Amazon, and now it's just the thing you buy on Amazon. It could be something that you're actually able to, once they try it on Amazon, kind of, they become part of your group, which is rare.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to look at it, and it's a great way to look at all those formats. And we were really surprised with our retail space, and we had, we've got quite a few people coming in, and it just covers all your bases. But I think at the end of the day, you have to be good enough to be discovered, and that's what's you're going to hold ground on, is that.
I like that.
Yeah. So, you have to have a good product. When we started, we didn't want to make a product that was just going to fill a shelf. We wanted to make a product that was going to, blow you away when you ate it. And all that does is it just takes hard work.
Yep.
So, you're living in America where there's, 20 of everything. So it's, it's pretty saturated. So if you just, bring your energy back into what you're doing and why you're doing it. And, we take a lot of care in our product and our packaging. And we want to give an experience when people open the box, when they get the box. We've got some funny graphics on there. We've started that, 6 or 7 years ago. That's funny if you flip the box all around, and we want you to have an experience when you open it, and we want there to be joy and fun when you open it. And just to take that much care in a product, we think it's really valuable, and it goes a long way. And really try to focus on really good customer service. Nick said we have this thing hanging up in our office that be the nicest. What was that? The nicest person people talk to all day. Every person that you talk to. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And that probably also helps out, any competition. I don't know if you've had anyone come in and try to copy a product and make kind of a similar brand, but when you kind of differentiate yourself like that, it's a lot harder for them to follow you, I'm guessing. They're more just like imitating, and it's hard for them to actually do the same thing you do when you kind of have that unique stuff that you add to the whole experience.
Yeah, it's you really have to be moving forward always, and you have to know what's going on in your field. You have to. This is going to sound funny, but we always look to. We're a pretty creative company, and I always look to inspiration for the Gucci's and the Chanel's of the world, where everybody's going to copy them. Everybody, they've got their back turned to everybody. They're moving so fast with designs and stuff like that. So when we started, we didn't want to make white packaging with little green leaves to make it look like it was super healthy. We didn't want to do anything like that. We wanted to how do we want to express ourselves? So we our colors are pink and fuchsia and stuff like that. So we have some funny stuff on Instagram with like Soul Train and trying to inspire people, through awesome quotes to eat healthy and educating people at the same time. So we either want to entertain or inform people. So
yeah, that's a good point what you said about like Gucci and Chanel, that sort of thing, where they could copy you, but they're always one step behind, and they're just they're imitating and following. So
yeah,
it's everyone can kind of see they're just one step behind.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's and it comes down to just having belief in what you're doing and in your product, what you're putting out there.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's it's neat.
Go on.
Nope, I was done.
So then once you get kind of a solid product and it's good, you get good feedback, how do you start kind of growing from there? What's kind of the next step you guys took to, okay, now let's even get the word out more and advertising, or what's that kind of look like?
Sure. So that's definitely more my kind of bailiwick. Whereas we started thinking about, how do we stay in touch with the people who are going to be our customers, and how do we grow a new customer base? And at the time, and it's still true today, the number one way to connect with people is through email. So for folks who are listening to this who are new businesses, really focus on collecting emails so that you stay in touch with the people who've actually shown interest in you. Emails equal money. And that's one thing that we do and say, okay, someone gives us their email. That's step one, is making sure that we build that list. But step two is equally important, which doesn't always happen with a lot of businesses, is to make sure that the emails you send out are super high value. So there's a couple ways we think about building a business, because there's only Lee and I who run it, and then we've got two what we consider full-time employees. We try and have a limited work week so that people can have their Friday, Saturday, Sunday to themselves. And then we've got a couple other people who come in and work for us a little bit, but there's no more than 5 or 6 people working for Paleo Treats at any one time. And that means that we have to build systems that answer the frequently asked questions automatically. And then we can take care of the odd questions that come up in a personal way. And that allows us to leverage the very best parts of what we can offer. So email and email automation is the way that we do that. And then thinking about all those emails that go out, is making sure, hey, when someone gets them, if they open it up, it's going to make their life better. And it's not always going to happen. That goes back to what Lee was saying about, making sure you're focusing on your niche and not on everybody. Is that if we try and sell Paleo Treats to people who are looking for, a package of Oreos, 20 Oreos for $2, we're never going to satisfy those people.
Yep.
But if we go looking for those people who are saying, yeah, I want the best that's out there and I'm willing to pay a little bit more, that's exactly our customer, and we can help those people a bunch achieve all of their goals. And it's really focusing on like, what do you want to do with your business? What does your customer want? And then how do you match those two things up really well?
So then when you say you're sending out email to them, what's an example of like a high value email that you would send to someone they would, want to open, and it's, something they're looking forward to reading?
There's two different kinds of emails that we send out. There's the ones that I shoot out, like I'll write a blog post, 2 to 4 of those a month. And so that'll go out every week. And it could be anything that I'm into. And this is one of the things that we found with this e-commerce business is you really can share parts of your personal life that aren't kind of overly personal and private, but just the stuff that you're exploring. So a while ago, I bought a little, it's called a TDCS, transcranial direct current stimulation kit. And it's basically these little electrodes you put on your head and shock your brain and stimulate your brain to work a little bit faster. It was something I'd read about, was interested in, tried it out. Lee thought it was hilarious because I put these things on my head and I said, hey, I'm going to turn this thing on. If I start twitching, knock them off. She's like, oh, you're crazy. But then I get to write about that and put that on the blog and share that with people. And what we found is that most people who are eating paleo are people who want to improve their life in a way that you can think about improving performance. So whether they want to run faster or lift heavier or be a better person or be nicer or more mindful or whatever it is, they want to get better. And so anything that we do where we're experimenting in how we can get better personally that we can share with them helps them out. So that's an example of an email that I sent out that was hopefully high value to most people. And I get, comments back like, oh, you're totally crazy. But they're interacting and they're kind of getting something out of it. And then the second part is going to be the automated emails. And so those are things like when you sign up for the list, what we see with a lot of people is they need help starting paleo. Paleo seems like a really high barrier for them. And they think they have to, say, eat a plate full of, bison meat, and they can only do free range, grass-fed, shade-grown, organic, bird-friendly, whatever the label is. And if they don't do that, then they're going to go to whatever, paleo hell. And that's not true. So it's one of the things we do with the initial series of emails is to say, hey, welcome to paleo. Here's how to start off pretty easily. Here are a couple recipes we found that work really well. And then here's a framework with which to understand paleo and make it work for you. Because everybody kind of functions a little bit differently. Some people do better with more meat or less meat or more veggies. And, paleo as a diet usually avoids beans or legumes. Some people are fine with them. And so we say with our product, we're really strict, but with our people, we're really lax and kind of flexible, and making sure that the people who come to us, like our main goal is to make sure that they can meet their, health and happiness and satisfaction goals. So how do we figure out the best way to do that? Maybe our product's the right one for them. Maybe it's not, and we can steer them somewhere else. So those kind of two emails are the ways that we add value.
And that kind of helps probably the, attracting new users, saying, hey, we can give you some advice about paleo. We have this kind of introductory, we have some recipes, we have that sort of thing. So it's not just kind of, sign up for our newsletter and you're not really sure what you're going to get. You can kind of let them know, here's what to expect. And that's what they get from, signing up for a newsletter. And they, you can kind of be very upfront with them about what they can expect to receive each week or each month.
Yeah, and I think also don't think about having, focus on having, 100,000 people on the list. Think about the 10,000 people that are going to want to get your email every time you send it out. And they're going to be interested in what you're saying. And yeah, just go, keep shooting for quality. You start small to go big. I think, what was that guy's name?
Seth Godin.
Oh yeah, Seth Godin.
Yep.
That was so cool. That's such a great 20-minute podcast. It was good. Yeah.
Huh. I like
but
that.
we have some good, we had one email that we sent out or blog post about, how Nick and I, we've been together for 16 years and how we run a business together. And we
17 years.
17 years. We had a great, how we communicate, and how we do that, which is, so we talk about stuff like that and systems that we've built. And yeah.
Is this something you guys do similar in the blog of kind of sharing these like personal details and stuff like that? And
Sometimes Nick does most of the writing. He's the writer. I'm a visual person, so he does the writing. But yeah.
Yeah, so do kind of the long form goes on the blog, and then the short form is the email. So the email will be the intro to, hey, this is how Lee and I have stayed married for 17 years. Check out the blog post here. Here's what you can expect to learn. The 3 techniques that we've used, or the time that we almost got divorced over a Mexican peso, or whatever it is.
That sounds like a good blog post. There you go.
That's a good story. Yeah, we did a water fast one time, so it was both of ours experience with a 5-day water fast, and
oh wow,
and cold baths and why to get sunshine and all that stuff. So yeah, we hope we're helping some people, live better lives, be healthier.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
So then, I know we talked kind of before the show. We had some notes, and you were talking about some, local traffic and giveaways and that sort of thing, and how that's kind of played into the whole thing. And they also mentioned this Frank.ai, the AI-based retargeting. I was interested in that as well.
Yeah, Nick found that. I forget how he found it. He discovered the Frank AI, and it was something that's really interesting. We put quite a bit of money into Facebook ads and Google ads over the years, and really have never connected with somebody that would kind of do the back end really well. So we've dumped a lot of money into it and haven't had a lot of great success. And Nick found this company called Frank AI, and it's artificial intelligence, and we're pretty big on trying new things. And we've been just started working with them. I've had to do a lot of stuff on the front end, which you have to be responsible for what you're putting out there and what works, what people want to see, what people don't want to see with marketing. So I've literally just studied, Facebook ads for the past couple weeks and put together some ads, and we just launched those. So we're going to see how that goes. But so far it seems pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool concept. I know everybody's starting to use it, Facebook and all that. So it's not like it's
retargeting. Just if people are retargeting or remarketing, just so if people don't know, can you actually kind of just define what that is? I think everyone knows by now, but I just want to make sure.
Totally. I mean, it definitely does seem like a mystery to a lot of people that we meet. So retargeting is a company like Paleo Treats will put like a piece of software on our site. When you visit our site, it'll put a cookie or a little piece of code on your browser to let us kind of see what's happening as you cruise around. And then as you visit different sites on the web, say the New York Times or whatever news sites you're going to, or any other site that offers advertisement spots, you'll see a advertisement from Paleo Treats. So the idea, and this is actually a little bit bigger of a conversation I think is pretty interesting, is lots of folks right now are saying, when I'm on the internet, I'm always getting all these crazy advertisements. I don't want any advertisements at all. And the way that a market works is that people pay to advertise, and then from being paid, the providers of the content can actually produce good content. So what retargeting is allowing companies to do is to say, hey, I know that Nick Hawks doesn't want to see pictures of soccer balls. Like Nick's not into soccer, so there's no reason for an advertiser to pay to display a soccer ad to me. But I am into paleo desserts or paragliding or whatever it is. So those things, as I visit those sites, and the sites tell basically the internet like what I'm into, as I cruise around, I'm going to see ads that are directed just at me. So it makes it a much more personalized experience. And I think the really cool thing about where we're going that will benefit everybody is you're only going to start seeing ads come into your view when you're ready to see them. And that's really the next big leap that's going to happen in advertising in general. Right now, all of us have had the experience of, we're looking for a microphone online, or we're looking for some product online. We go and we buy it. We get on Facebook and we see an advertisement for it. And we're like, dude, we just bought that. I don't need to see that anymore. What's going to happen probably sometime this year or next year is that the technology will catch up and say, okay, they just bought that product. They don't need to see it again. They've been looking at this next thing. They're likely to buy this next piece. Let's start showing that to them so that they're ready for it. We can show them exactly what they want and what might be the best fit for them so that we're not wasting their time with a bunch of stuff that is almost good enough. So that's kind of a long way around the retargeting bit.
Yeah, nothing worse when you buy a new car or something and you have, Honda and Toyota following you around the internet for the rest of the month after you
Totally.
just came home with a new car and that sort of thing.
Yep. Yep. Exactly it.
So then, are you guys retargeting folks that have already been on the site, or are you using, I don't know how much detail we should get about retargeting and how it works, but are you using like lookalike audiences to actually find new, folks that might not know about you and bring them in that way?
Absolutely. So the retargeting is people who come to our site. We then kind of follow them and shoot advertisements their way. The lookalike audience will be taking our email list and loading that up into an advertising platform like AdRoll or Facebook or whatever, and saying, "Hey, these are what our customers look like. Can you find me more customers who look like them and allow me to display my ads to those folks?" And so it's always this kind of constant effort to make advertising better. And I think it's not this necessary evil; it's a totally rad thing that's been kind of build the wrong way. But I think what a cool thing that'll be if I can get online and I only see ads for stuff that I'm pretty likely to buy, and that makes the whole market process really efficient, and people can afford to pay for great products, great advertising that specifically targets me and what I'm doing, or specifically targets you or whoever's listening, because we all have different interests. Like, you're not going to care at all if you see the latest paraglider wing, whereas that's going to be vitally interesting to me. Like, at this point, with a brand new kid, you're probably more interested in, I don't know, diapers and whatever else is out there.
I do get those ads now.
Wouldn't do me much good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's definitely got a bad rap. People thinking that advertising is evil and all these different things, but then you start to realize that maybe you're a CrossFitter and this and that, and you're not going to see the Oreo ads following you around the internet and that sort of thing. Or even worse, if you go back to early 2000s, just like the banner ads, that sort of thing, where you would literally see ads for like ringtones for your phone or something that you just were not going to buy. It's a much better experience to actually, if you're into paleo, eating healthy, actually see an ad for you guys that you might actually be interested in. It might actually be something that people want, and it's not just blasting people over the head with stuff they'll never purchase anyway. So it's actually like, it almost adds to the experience, and it has gotten a bad rap, you're right, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think the way to really appreciate it is to ask yourself, what are you not seeing? And how much better is your web experience because of what you're not seeing? If you're, like you said, not getting beaten over the head with Toyota ads or
ringtones
or whatever it is, like, your website experience is way better. And,
Yep.
Everybody wants this free internet, but somebody's paying the bills, and mostly it's advertisers.
And you found kind of Facebook, and are you using Google at all, or is it just kind of, is Facebook? Because everyone now, I mean, that is kind of the new coolness. Everyone's talking about Facebook. Or are you kind of branching out to other ad networks?
So the way that the Frank.ai works is that was one of the promises they made, is they'll take the creative stuff, creative graphics and the messages that we come up with, and they will test those across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the web in general, news sites, all of that stuff, and use that artificial intelligence to say, okay, this ad does the best on Facebook, and that ad with that copy does way better on Twitter, and this third ad is more for Instagram. And so it's always going back to that idea of how do I get the right message to the right person at the right time on the right platform. And I mean, that's the radical thing about the internet, is that a tiny little company in San Diego selling this niche product can actually compete in that market and do okay. And that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's different. You're probably coming up with different creatives, and it's nice to have, something to test them, right? Because there's intent. Like if you're on Google and you're saying, paleo food, buy paleo food, you can have very clear intent what you're looking for at that moment. But if you're on Facebook looking at, pictures of dogs and cats and babies, you might not be thinking about paleo food at that moment, but you might scroll by an ad and say, oh, that looks interesting, and pop over there and read a blog post and check it out that way. So certain ads do perform a lot better based on where they are at that moment, kind of your behavior on that ad network.
Yeah. The whole thing is fascinating to me. I like the whole marketing and human psychology stuff. So that's where I fit in. I bet we could talk for a while about this, but yeah, that's how we can do it at PT. Yeah,
I definitely, I feel like that's a hot topic right now, and everyone's talking about Facebook and retargeting, so it's interesting. But then,
yeah, at the end of the day, you got to think, hey, do I have a good product? Do I have good service? Are people going to come back and buy this? And then once you have those dialed in, then it's effective to say, okay, how do I find more people? But what we see a lot of, especially with the whole real food movement that's super hot right now, is folks will go in with really slick marketing, super big budgets, but they don't have the basically good product behind it. And so we've seen over the course of 9 years, I can't tell you how many companies kind of come up, seem like they're doing really well. You look at them, you're like, God, the product's not that good. The marketing is really good. Let's see what happens. And they just disappear. And I think that's, going into folks who are starting a business or running a business who are listening to this, like entrepreneurship is definitely not for everybody. And you have to, have that ability to hold true to the quality standards that you set. And it's really tempting to drop those. We get stuff on a pretty regular basis, like, oh, your prices are so high. And we have that discussion over and over. But really, like, we're looking for the people, not who don't care about pricing or don't care about money, but who care more about being healthy. And it's saying like, hey, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to do this high quality product.
Saving time.
I'm going to, save time, whatever it is that works for them, and reach directly to those people rather than, going crazy with advertising to people who won't buy or who will be upset at some aspect of it.
And as founders, you're constantly kind of questioning, are we doing the right thing? And it helps to have that kind of one focus kind of in the background saying, yeah, just keep going back. This is what we're doing. We're providing a high quality product. And like you said, it's not for everyone, but, having that to fall back on. And because there are times where you get that angry email, your prices are too high, this and that. And it's nice to be able to, say, you do question, are they? And then knowing, okay, no, this is, we want to provide a high quality product and this is the cost of these. The same thing shopping at Whole Foods versus, the local wherever. There's higher prices, but it's just for a different type of food is being sold there.
Yeah, and you end up educating people. I mean, it's our treats are $5 to $6 a piece, and they don't have any. They're very nutritionally dense, so you can probably cut them in quarters, and we do it all the time, and just have a piece. And you think about the world we're living in. People will walk in and spend $3 to $5 on a coffee, and which is mostly water. So you just end up having to educate people a lot, which is fine with us because it's it teaches them and makes them better people. And we also have live chat on our website, which has been one of the best things we've ever done.
Oh, really?
It's amazing.
Is that for customer service or how is that used primarily?
Yeah, customer service. So we just leave it on as much as, as we can, and people will write in. People love to hear back right away. It could be the simplest question, like, hey, can I have 2 of this instead of 2 of that? But if you can answer that right away, you've saved a sale, really. And, I love live chat, and a lot of people think that, you're talking to somebody in overseas, but it's, as far as we go, it's actually us that you're talking to. Nick and I
love when they ask
sit on the computer a lot. So.
And people must love when they ask like a paleo question. They get like this answer right back of actually someone that knows what they're talking about, and oh wow, you guys are actually like there, and you can hear me and understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, piece, as long as you got the time and you're going to be in front of the computer anyway, that's probably after you get your website and your email stuff set up, that's the best $4 a month you can spend is with live chat.
Well, and that probably also helps to get that quick feedback cycle, I'm guessing, where, maybe you guys put out a blog post and somebody responds back with, that was crazy. You try something new, and you can quickly hear back from people, and you don't have to, it's a lot easier. It's a lot shorter of a feedback cycle.
Yeah. Or looking for this, or, It could be a wholesale account. It could be, you never know who you're going to get. I mean, you never know who you're going to be talking to.
Yep.
Ever. Who's on the other end. And
yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes I've done the same thing with live chat, and people pop on, and it's you never know, and it's different every time. But it definitely shortens that feedback cycle, and you lose something over email. I've noticed too with that long back and forth. that's just with live chat, you're able to quickly kind of hash something out and all of a sudden get right to the point.
Yeah. Yep.
So you guys
people
also
just don't have time anymore.
They don't have time, and you can quickly solve their problem. So if they, hey, where's my tracking number?
So why not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. All the time. Yep.
So then you also mentioned, we were talking before about experimenting with shipping prices. You guys have done some things with that, with like flat rate or free shipping, or you do some different testing there?
Yeah. So the idea to start with, and it seems so obvious, but a lot of folks don't get it, is that shipping is going to cost somebody.
Yep.
Right? And so you've got to think about how are you going to present that proposition, because there's no way that shipping is ever free, right? And what we see a lot with entrepreneurs we talk to who are coming up and asking us for advice, like, oh, how do you do free shipping? If we talk to FedEx and we're like, hey, FedEx, we're actually pretty good people. We'd really appreciate if you could just ship for free. and that's never how it works.
And it has to be 2 days across the across the U.S. So
totally. So what we did, and we just experimented with a bunch of stuff. We said, hey, let's try putting the cost that we pay on the site, and they can add that to the cost of the cookies, so it's super transparent. Now, people didn't like that. They didn't like it whether they were living in San Diego and it cost $7 to ship to them, or whether they're living in Florida and it cost $30 to ship to them. They just didn't like it. So then we tried a flat rate where it's like, hey, it's, I think, $12 to ship to everybody. We averaged out the cost of our shipments. They didn't like that. And I think this is something that Amazon has gotten people used to, is just expecting free shipping. And so for us, it was like a little bit of a heartbreak to say, hey, we're just going to include the price of shipping in every box of cookies. So if you buy this small box, 4 or 5 times, you get paying. And as kind of overly expensive as that sounds, we found that for our customers, that's the way they wanted it. And so this is one of those things I think I hit on earlier. If you get a complaint from people, oh, your stuff is expensive, you have to ask yourself, like, is it?
Yeah.
Am I doing this wrong? And with shipping, despite our best efforts to charge people what they cost, we found that people didn't want to deal with it, and they were willing to pay the extra price to have, quote, free, unquote, shipping. And so that's what we did. But that was after, 2 or 3 years of experimentation, going back and forth with a bunch of different stuff.
And that's one of those things that's not immediately obvious when you start. Of, you think that the cheapest shipping is the best, and then you don't realize that, maybe a slightly more expensive shipping, but baking in the price is actually converts better. And it's not immediately obvious, but it's one of those things, unless you actually test it, you don't see that on the surface. Because it sounds so counterintuitive, what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You hear that all the time, especially with free shipping, because like you said, I think Amazon has really, they've trained people that, things ship for free on the internet, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, and it's like you don't really, look at the price of the bottom line. It's and that it's included in there. There's going to be something's going to be more expensive for that free shipping. So
I've even found
but
myself,
it's just the the words free shipping.
Yeah, I found myself kind of falling victim to that too, where if there's 2 products, I just the free shipping feels attractive, and I don't know why. I think Amazon's trained me and I know that it's not free. But it's one of those things. I don't know the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
Have you done any other kind of
free
experiments?
Shipping.
Everyone wants something for free, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you done any other kind of experiments that have counterintuitive results like that?
Yes. But we started off when we were selling that very first event back in 2009. We were selling the cookies for $2 each because we didn't know, and we thought, like, hey, we're gonna have to give these away anyway. Let's just, let's make the price as low as possible.
Yep.
And then we came back from that and started looking into pricing and saying, man, if we sell these at $2 each, we're going to be out of business in about a month. And we didn't want to be out of business, so we just started slowly raising the price, seeing what worked. And at one point, we were up as high as $7 a treat, and we saw that that's where people started kind of drop off. And we also didn't feel that it was right. Like, a person would buy 1 treat for $7. We'd lose money on the shipping, and they'd be pissed because they bought a $7 treat that came in a box, and that's never like a great experience to open up, your box, and then there's only one thing in there.
Yep.
So we kind of dialed back and said, okay, we're going to buy, one of each. It's going to be, I think it's right around $6, just under that. If they're going to buy 36, it's just under, it's like $4.80 or $4.90 a treat. So really experimenting with those shipping things, and then reading a bunch about experimenting a bunch about pricing theory and how price anchoring works and how to use all that to help people understand the value and quality of your products.
Yeah, pricing is one of those things that not immediately obvious, and especially with what you guys are doing, you're making something from scratch. So how to price it isn't, you don't have something to peg it to of, they sell, this for that, so let's just go let's do this exact price and let's just copy them. You guys, it sounds like it's almost this own little market where you basically have to really experiment with price and figure out what the market can bear, and not just, there's no one to, just price it 30 cents cheaper than and say, great, we won.
Yeah. I always compare it to coffee, and what you're used to seeing with a coffee. What are you going to pay for a cup of coffee? No matter how good or how it's made, how much, what's your threshold for that? And it seems like there's always some mental threshold.
Yep.
Would you pay $7 or $8 for a cup of coffee? I mean, I would do it just to say, wow, what does an $8 cup of coffee really taste like? But,
you're not going to buy 30.
You're not going to buy, yeah.
It's not going to be your, your every morning, your $8 coffee.
Yeah, you're not buying rounds.
Yeah, there's actually a place here in Boston it's a coffee shop with stadium seating, and you can watch the baristas craft your coffee, and it's like a $9 coffee. And I've definitely gone there before, and it's cool, but I don't go there every morning.
I would try it.
Yeah, you got to try it. And they make, a nice little flower on top,
totally.
And with the foam, and it's great, but it's not something you do every morning because it's a little extreme. Huh.
Yeah.
I like that. And then one other thing we noted is kind of books to read. I saw you guys added that, and I definitely wanted to go into that of, things that have helped you in this kind of entrepreneurial journey, let's call it.
Yeah. So the important thing to note with books is just how you learn. So you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm not a reader. Basically, don't pay attention to these recommendations. Find something that's going to work for you, whether it's YouTube videos or you go to a conference or whatever it is. But for me, I'm a reader. That's how I learn stuff. And I found a couple different books that they really helped me understand marketing and sales and how people kind of think about their purchases. And so that was Priceless by William Poundstone, Ask by Ryan, I think you say his last name Levesque, it's spelled Levesque. There's one called Influence by Robert Cialdini, and he's just come out with another book as well. And then Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug.
Yep.
Or Krug. So it's all these just different ways of how do I understand how people use the internet? How do they use a website? What are they looking for? What's important to them? And how do I kind of get out of their way so that they can have this really direct experience and get what they want out of it? Because there's that piece as a human, not just a business owner, where you want to impose your view of the world on someone or something. And if you want to be a successful business owner, really what you've got to do is figure out how do other people want to see the world, and then how do I deliver that to them in the form of this product, so that if they're looking for what I have, there's a really efficient, frictionless transition between me having it and them having it. And then if they're not, there's no sense in spending time trying to get them to buy something they don't want or need or can't help them. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that's one thing you both have really focused on. It's just kind of knowing your customer and knowing who they are, and really like being one with your customer and really kind of understanding what they want and how to help them. And it's not, you're not one group of people trying to sell this other, golfers and you don't play golf type of thing. It sounds like you're really living and breathing the kind of lifestyle that your customers do. So that helps you to really connect with them.
Yeah. Yep. I also think we, don't want, the biggest thing is we just don't want to come up with another product and just to put out into the world. We want to come up with something that's, was unique to us, unique to the world, benefits the world somehow. And that's, listening to what your inner voice says with it, something that you're passionate about, something that you care about. And yeah, thinking of it as your contribution to the world. Because we're go ahead.
What I was going to say, what's your process look like coming up with new products? Like, how's that actually? You said you have 5 of them currently.
We have 6, and
Okay.
we're coming out with a new one tomorrow. The first one. Yeah. So it's a pretty long process. I usually make the product, and it's probably about 20 to 30 iterations of a recipe, and we make a lot of it, and we take it into our crew, and everybody says they don't like it, they do like it. If people don't love it and they're not crazy about it, we don't move forward with it. So it literally, there's been a lot that we've thrown away and canked, and then we come up with we all come up with a creative name for it. It's like, for us, it's like having a little child, and it's got a little personality, and it's, we're excited about it. And so, yeah, that's yeah.
Is this something customers are kind of guiding you towards a new product, or are you coming up with them first and then, guiding the customers towards, hey, we have this new thing, check this out?
It's probably a little bit of both. We don't want to, if somebody says, hey, do you guys have something with strawberry? If we can't come up with something that's going to knock it out of the ballpark, where you could give it to your grandma and she would be like, wow, this is amazing. We don't want to make it. And so, yeah, so it's gotta, we have people suggest stuff, but it's gotta, people want us to do stuff with stevia sometimes, but we just don't like the taste of those sweeteners. They leave a really kind of weird aftertaste, and we just haven't been able to nail something made with any of those different sweeteners. So we haven't gone down that road. Our lowest in carb is the Bandito, and a lot of people that do like keto or low carb will eat that and slice off a little bit of that. It's a really good one. It's one of our best sellers. And
what is it exactly?
It's an almond butter cup.
Almond butter cup. Okay.
Yeah, it has like chocolate on top, and it's really good.
Yeah, think of like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but 3 times as big and without any poison in it.
Sounds good. I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, we'll get a box out to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Yeah, this has been very interesting. I definitely, I know you guys don't have all the time in the world, so I want to watch the time here. But yeah, curious kind of, the last kind of couple questions are, like, what is the goal? Like, why you're doing it? I know you kind of mentioned figure out why you're in business. Could you kind of touch upon that a little?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's probably the single most important thing for most people is when they think about why you're in business, most people will think to make money. And making money is just a part of why we are in business. When we started, we came up with these kind of 3 guiding pieces. Number 1 was to add beauty, quality, and joy to the world. Number 2 is to have effing fun. And number 3 was to make money. And so it was this thing that we said, look, we're not in business to sell 1 billion Paleo Treats. We're not in business to buy Lamborghinis and drive them off cliffs and jump out and parachute to the ground. We're in business to make a really cool product for what will probably always only ever be a niche market, to have a lot of fun doing it, to provide good jobs for the people who are working for us and a great environment for them. We come in and it sounds almost cheesy, but I think every time I went into the office this week, the employees were dancing when I walked in. They had some song on. They're doing like a photo shoot for this giveaway that we're running. And they're just having a super good time. And they're also getting work done. And so it's this kind of combination. And it's really important to identify why you're in business when you start. Going back to the idea that entrepreneurship is not for everyone, despite that being how it's portrayed in the media. There's plenty of nights where you go to bed and you know that if a risk you took doesn't pay off, you're not gonna be in business the next day. And you've got to be able to be okay with that kind of big risk and responsibility. And I can't tell you how many nights Lee and I have been up more Lee because she's more running the financial side of it, where it's just like, dang it, we got payroll tomorrow. Like, we better make sales today or this check better come through. And if you think about it, it's an odd way to make a living, is to sell niche cookies on the internet. But it allows us to do the things that we're the very best at doing and that we have the very most fun doing. And so while we have kind of a rule in our house, because we work from the house and from the office and kind of wherever we are, that most of the time we don't talk about business before 10 in the morning or after 6 in the evening, we're always thinking about it because it's something that's fun for us. Like, I like reading about that marketing stuff. I like reading about the psychology and seeing where we can implement that and make it easier for people to buy Paleo Treats. And Lee is super psyched to spread art and beauty and joy and quality around, whether it's via Instagram or how we present on the website or shooting a video, like any of those things. So doing Paleo Treats allows us, like, sure, it's got to make money, it's got to pay the bills, but it allows us to have fun and to enjoy the life that we have here. And, you know, being American, we're already born into this really gifted place, and so we figured let's make the absolute most of what we've been given.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys really kind of, you know, there's people that get in business to, like you said, make the most money and squeeze every last drop of efficiency out of things, or, you know, that really kind of, just really kind of push it right to the edge. And then there's other folks that kind of do it to make the world a better place and want to make money, but that's, you know, just a part of the equation, and it's not the only factor. It sounds like you guys really kind of know where you're at with that and really kind of like live that. And I also like the rule you said about not talking about business between certain hours. Something tells me that that helps the relationship quite a lot at home.
Yeah, because you get excited at like 6 a.m. You wake up like, oh my God, Lee, I got this idea for this email. Let's do this. And she's like, no, stop. I'm still getting up. I'm going through my morning routine. We'll talk about this in a couple hours. And it's nice to have that protection there.
Yeah, you can do that with anything though. Like, hey, it's no talking about the kids from, you know, it pushes your mate to have also a different identity, you know, like it pushes them to, you know, be something or do something besides, you know, working or, you know, being a mom. It's like you get to talk about other things. So it's just setting boundaries with time. It's worked really well with us.
And that probably helps. So, you don't just see
yourself, you know, having your date night, you know, once.
You still get to be a couple and not just, you know, business partners at the end of the day, and actually kind of set those boundaries.
Yeah, and I get to have my own identity, you know, and what I'm doing with my life, you know, as a person. It's not, you know, I'm not defined by you know, being a business owner, or, you know, being a wife. You know, I'm a woman, smart woman, you know, with other interests, and yeah.
Huh. All right. That sounds like a good place to end it. I like that. Well, thank you guys.
Awesome.
That was great. That was super interesting. If people want to get in touch with you, where's the best place to do that?
Just jump on the internet, paleotreats.com, PALEOTREATS, paleotreats.com, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. We're on all that stuff if you just Google for Paleo Treats.
Great. All right. I'll put that all in the show notes as well, so all kind of links to that. And if anyone wants to, you know, hit you up on Facebook or send you a live chat, they can probably do that as well. So, and it sounds like something I'd like to check out. So I'll definitely be in touch.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know if you have any questions on that or anything, or what works best. Or it's been great. It's been such an honor to be on your show. Really, really appreciate that you reached out.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys. It was great chatting with
awesome.
you. I think.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think this will be helpful to other e-commerce folks. Hearing kind of some of the things that are working and your kind of journey. That's definitely going to be helpful. So thank you very much.